and welcome. My name's Kathy A, and well, today I'm kind of going off a little bit on the beaten path. I thought I would create a tag because it came to me over the past year or so that my YouTube viewing has altered a little bit. My makeup buying has been reduced substantially, and I've just been enjoying different topics besides makeup. So I thought I would share with you some of the channels that I really love. I really enjoy these channels. I learn from them. I feel like I'm leveling up a little bit from watching them. And I just thought I'd create a tag, and if you are a creator, I sure hope you will do this as well, because life is more than lipstick. And it's really just channels I watch that aren't really makeup based, but I really recommend them and I enjoy them. I go back to them time and time again. You know, I watch a lot of makeup videos. I'm subscribed to over 500 people. A lot of the ladies are no longer with us as far as makeup channels go, and some people have actually merged over into other areas, which we'll see a little bit later on. So what I've done is I've grouped my channels by kind of main topic. And I'm going to start with over 50 advice channels. Now these are really popular, like being single is new to me, being over 50, actually over 60 is new to me. And I'm from a generation that, you know, we were freewheeling and we thought, you know, the world was our oyster. I was a disco queen. I relied a lot on my looks and my sense of humor to get me what I wanted, but those are not really good skill sets nowadays to get through life. So I've had to learn other ways, and I've had to level up my life in many ways, educate myself and all that. Try to find other interests, you know. So let's start off with 60 and Me. Margaret Manning. She is a Canadian who moved to Switzerland, and she is kind of, she's like the nice lady next door that knows everybody. She has a lot of guest speakers on her show, and her shows are all very helpful, very positive. She's a gentle person. She says it gently to you, which is nice. She talks about everything, a full range, from dealing with menopause, dealing with traveling alone, dealing with widowhood and grief, dealing with grandchildren, dealing with estranged children, which was an interesting topic. She takes lots of trips places. She's a nice lady. She has a makeup artist that visits her every now and then, and they talk about makeup, but that's not her strong point. Her strong point is attitude and dealing with aging and dealing with being alone, because she's not remarried. And several of us in the YouTube community got divorced all around the same time. So 60 and Me is a great channel to have a look at. She talks about a lot of very interesting subjects, a very diverse line of subjects, and they're all based on being older. And you know, she had one series where she talked about settling for your retirement in another country, what it was like, because that's what she did. The next one is Shelley. She's down in Australia, and she's got a channel called Fabulous 50s. Now Shelley is a very healthy person with a positive attitude. She has the best exercise videos on the internet. I mean, if you're lazy, if you just like want to sit in a chair and move a little bit, she's the gal to watch. She's very positive, she's very motivating, she's very upbeat. She's a beautiful lady, and I'm really pleased. I think she's been a very positive person to watch, and I feel like really happy and inspired after I watch her videos. Over 50 TV. This is Lou, and he is an expert in workforce stuff, side hustles, if you want to start a business on the side after retirement, handling ageism in the work world. Is very, very interesting and informative. He talks about monetary issues, finances. Is a reverse mortgage, is that something that's a good thing or a bad thing? He's a very good source for that kind of information. You know, if you're starting a small business, he tells you kind of the ins and outs. He's had many businesses in his life. He's a very successful businessman, and now he's sharing his world of knowledge for people over 50. Second Act TV. Silka is a lady who's in her, I think she's in her mid to late 50s, and she talks about the dating world and relationship world, and it's a different aspect of over 50s, and she talks about the problems, everything from ED to first date to dating when you haven't had a date in 25 years. She's really good. She has a lot of guest speakers every single show. She has different speakers. Some of them are quite famous. I really enjoy watching that. She has some good advice. She has sociologists on there and psychologists on there who will talk about roadblocks that we give ourselves from, you know, really enjoying life on a daily basis. So she's really good, and it's called Second Act TV. Crushing Their 80s, Nanny and the Moose. This is a weird channel that I just came upon during COVID. She's in her 80s. I think she's 84. She's the oldest YouTuber that I watch. She just explains her daily life and how she gets through, and she has little hints and tips that she's been doing for years that have made her life easier. She's got a lot of children, a lot of grandchildren. Attitude is amazing. She has a very positive attitude. She and her husband are both elderly. They're both on medications. They both, you know, have a very easy sort of life, but they still live at home, and she talks about their life at home, and it's very inspiring. And I'm thinking, you know, she's like 20, 25 years older than I am, and it's kind of really nice to see somebody give good advice, good solid advice for things that make life easier for her. Talked about hair pieces and hair foam pieces. They were, I think she called them hair molds, and they were really interesting to watch, and I might actually invest in that. There's a little bit of everything in the shows, and I just enjoy watching her because she's inspiring, because she is older. I just like it. It's just a very interesting to me and inspiring, you know, when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm 64, you know. She's in her 80s, and she's doing 10 times in her day what I do in mine, so yeah. Now, I like to watch a lot of shows where people are thrifting or they're shopping, and especially thrifting to turn it over and resell it. There's a lot of folks who do that, and there's some of the main channels that I really like is Sandra, the Mom Boss. She is all about Poshmark and how she sells her stuff on Poshmark. She talks about how to photograph your stuff, how to list it, all the tools that you need. And she's just a regular person, lady next door kind of thing. She started selling, you know, kids' clothes that they'd outgrown on Poshmark, and now she's like really big into thrifting in stores and finding things. And she says that there's like little charts and things of the top selling things, and she gives you pointers on if you're going to buy things to resell them for profit, what to look for. And I found her to be very personable and kind and really educational, you know, on explaining how Poshmark works, for one thing. And if you don't know, Poshmark is a site where you can resell clothes, have what's called your boutique, and you can fill it with clothes and you can sell them. She also tells you how to pack up the clothes, how to organize them so that you can, when somebody buys one, how to negotiate with a buyer, the communication, how to keep up with your channel so that your boutique is always being shared. And it's just really interesting. And I didn't know very much about Poshmark before this. Success with Sam. Now, he's an English lad. I'd say he's in his late 20s maybe, and he's like a millionaire kind of guy, and he did it through selling on eBay. He started off by buying things in bulk and reselling them, and then he's now got drop shippers that work. He's got products that he negotiates with. He looks at certain stats to see what products to invest in. He's extremely interesting, and he speaks very plainly, so you understand the concepts that he's bringing out. He's very successful on eBay, especially reselling, using the he uses Alibaba as a main source, and Alibaba has a lot of like, they have vendors on there from China and from India and from other countries where you can negotiate bulk amounts with them, and he tells you really good processes to follow when you're first starting out. And he also goes over some of the mistakes he made when he started out. So I really enjoy watching him, and actually whenever he uploads, I do watch his videos. The Crazy Lamp Lady. Jocelyn is a very young lady. I mean, when I first saw her, I thought she was, I think everybody's like 16 or 18 when I see, but anybody who's under 30, I think she's actually over 30. She's a young mother. She just had her third baby and introduced it to us, like, and they just moved into this big old farmhouse that they're renovating. She buys things at Goodwill, and she takes you shopping along with her in Goodwill and picks up things and said, well, this is a Murano glass and this should be really valuable. It's only $3.99. This is a perfect thing. And then she just goes around the store, and you get such an education on antiques. She loves things that are animal shaped, and she does have everything that she buys basically is for resale. That's their business. Her husband does coins and collectibles, so they're both, you know, into it. But she basically just shows all the things she finds, and she picks up things and, you know, talks about how cute they are. Sometimes she brings people with her shopping, and they show what they bought. And it's just very satisfying for me to sit and watch other people shop. I don't know why that is, but I learned so much about antiques. And, you know, whenever I go into the Goodwill, there's just miles and miles of stuff and junk all stacked together. I miss all the stuff. She actually reaches in and pulls things out of the back and says, oh, this vase is probably worth around $200. I'll check the comps. And she's got her phone with her, and she checks the comps. She goes, oh yeah, these are selling as for an average of $150, and it's like $199, you know. So I'm like, oh, you know, this is kind of an interesting side hustle. So sometimes she'll have shows when she goes through her warehouse and shows you like this. I mean, it almost looks like hoarders. It's full of stuff that she resells some. They have a booth somewhere they sell also. And she also goes to flea markets and garage sales as well. But they're basically, she goes to Goodwills and Salvation Armies and shows you as she goes through those places. The Niche Lady. She's really funny, and I think she's around 60, 65 years old. Her name's Danny, and she has a son named Noah who helps her sometimes. He's a teenager at home, an older teenager who lives at home. And they talk about, you know, different things. He edits her films, and he sometimes will put text comments on the top. But she's hilarious. She will point at things, and she says what you're thinking. You know, she'll pick up different things and say that looks obscene, or look at this. And she has her favorites too. And she's really educated. She's been selling on eBay since 1998. And I remember when I used to sell on eBay back when it first happened. In fact, I got my first computer in 1996, so I could sell on eBay. I wanted to sell things on eBay, and that I did that as my job. I used to make around $400 a week. I was taking things off my wall and selling them. My husband at the time, my first husband, he was starting to get annoyed with it because we were having less and less stuff. We were becoming minimalist, but not really his choice. Anyway, the Niche Lady is really funny, and she does this thing once a week where she does a live auction. Okay, here's a chipmunk statue. We're starting the bidding at $5, and the commenters bid on the chipmunk, and it gets up to, okay, the timer's going to go off at, you know, in 6 seconds. whoever has the highest bid in that 6-second frame will get the chipmunk. And she does these like once a week. It's kind of fun. And other times she'll go through and she'll ask people what she should buy. What do you like in this group? Do you like this? Do you like that? And so if somebody says they like it, she will buy it. And then she'll put it in her auction the following week. So it's kind of a fun, interactive sort of thing. And again, she's thrifting. She goes through Goodwills and Salvation Armies and secondhand stores, consignment shops, things like that, and garage sales. She does a little bit of everything. And I love to go shopping with people when they go into stores like Target and Walmart, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Ross, Aldi. And one of my favorite people to shop with, and I feel like I'm really with her, is Belinda, and her channel is called Pretty and Flawed. She is like your best friend walking with you in a store. She stops and she'll open up, the thing. She'll pull out the thing. She'll say, I really like, this is cute, but I like it in blue better, but they don't have it in my size. And she puts it back. You really feel like you're with her. And she goes through like Target, she'll go through all those little $1 and $3 bins, and she'll say, well, these are new, I like this. And she does what you would do. It's very intuitive. It goes into different sections of the stores each time, and she talks about different products she's tried or different products she'd like to try or what's new. And she loves Dollar Tree. She loves going in the Dollar Tree. She shows you the seasonal areas first. She picks up things. She touches everything. And she also does this, I really like this about her. If something's messed up, she'll fix it. She'll fix it. And if she messes something up to show it to you, she puts it all back in order before she leaves. She's just very thoughtful that way. Now she has a young child, a little boy named, she calls him Pooh Bear. She has a daughter who's a little bit older, preteen, and then she has an adult son. Sometimes she'll go into Target and look at the clothes, sometimes the jewelry, sometimes she loves handbags. She'll go into that. Sometimes she'll look at underwear sets. She'll go into the clearance and say these are on clearance now. But she's really good to shop with. And I just find it very relaxing going shopping with her. She really liked Belinda, and I really enjoy shopping with her. The deal guy, Matt, he's kind of like a car salesman, but I really like his sense of humor. He does like the top 10 or 20 things that are new in a store for each month. He'll say, this is what you should be buying at Aldi, and he'll go through and show, especially in the seasonal area and the home goods area of Aldi. He does do the food there too once in a while, but he loves to go through that section where they have like the lawn furniture and the lamps and the candles and the kitchen stuff and everything. He goes through Walmart. He'll tell you secrets to the pricing. He'll tell you about the clearance areas, what to look for. He really does show you the deals. And I believe he was once on a TV news program as the guy to, give you hints and tips about shopping. Chic on the Cheap. This is Sarah Jane. She actually goes through Dollar Trees and Walmarts and Hobby Lobbies, and she picks out really cheap things and pieces them together and turns them into high-end looking decor. There's a piece she did on those little solar lamps that Dollar Tree has. She did like a million crafts with them and turned them into like lantern things and flower pot things and candle accessories and outdoor lighting, and she made them look so nice. But she's kind of a crafter. It's a DIY kind of thing. And her name is Sarah Jane, and it's called Chic on the Cheap. Stylish at 50. This is Maria, and she lives in the UK. And she is a curvy lady who has been a personal stylist for many, many years. She is, I believe she's 54. And she's a very practical dresser, but very pretty and very savvy. She's really good at capsule wardrobes for women who are curvy. Now, she is in the UK, so a lot of the stores that she goes to purchase things are like Primark or, you know, Debenhams or Marks and Spencer. But you can get a lot of these items on Amazon or something similar to them. A lot of it with her is concept and process. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I got off of her show that I thought were really good ideas. Now, this first one was kind of interesting. Maria said that she uses an elastic band and she puts ruching in shapeless tops. Now, I just watched Heather. She's the Canadian lady who does makeup stuff, so she's not in my list today, but Heather just did this recently too, and I'm like, she did it slightly differently, but this I saw on Carolyn's video, and Carolyn did it quite a while ago. This is a plain t-shirt, but I'm going to show you underneath here. I gathered underneath the bust line, I gathered it and I put a elastic band there. And so after you do that, it holds underneath and it gives you a ruching. So it puts a shape to your clothing. It brings it in a little bit. And I think it's a terrific idea. I really liked this. It's really good if you have a lot of shapeless tops that you'd really like to have a little bit more, and ruching is always so very good for folks who are a little curvy. We're looking for that hourglass figure. One of the things that she did was, these are belt buckles or buckles. They're just buckles. You know, it's just a plain round thing. And I got a package that has 6 different ones in it, 6 different color combinations. And what she does with the buckles is she uses them 2 ways. In one way, you can see this, she just takes part of the clothes and puts them through this buckle on the corner, and it ruches the shirt. It brings it up on one side, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. You can do it on the side or do it in the middle on the bottom. Now it does beautiful ruching, so it's very flattering for we curvy ladies. And I love it. And you just literally, before you wash it, you just take it out and wash the clothes, and then when you want to, you know, put it back in again, you just take part of the fabric, put it right through, just loop it right through that belt, pull it down, and you've got that ruching going on. Isn't that cool? That's just so cool. She's been on for quite a while. She's been on for at least 10, 12 years. So she's not, you know, new channel or anything. So I've linked it below, but these buckles, you can get a set of 6 of them, very, very cheap. Personal styling. This is Melissa Morel. She's another British lady. I know, I don't have any Americans. Oh my goodness. She uses terrific examples of styling for different types of clothes, how you can restyle an older item. She tells you different things that look dowdy, different lengths, how to tell your body type. She's just a really good personal, professional stylist. Now, she has a lot of models who will demonstrate different body types, so that she will show outfits and things on them and how she dresses them, how she corrects, you know, like she shows befores and afters, and she just redoes a lot of things. One of my favorites is Francesca Bros. And Francesca is a French lady who, even though she speaks French and she's, you know, from France, she has lived in other countries. She's traveled well. She met and married a man from Australia. and she moved to Australia, and she has been there for about 20 years now. She is so funny. Oh my gosh. Frederica. She's, I believe she's 48 to 50 years old. I forget. But she is a crackerjack. She's just really fun. She's extremely opinionated, really good fashion advice, really good life advice. A little bit of a French thing going on there where she has that French attitude like Anne-Marie Lacour does. She's another French stylist that I watch. But I like Frederica's personality a lot. She's just extremely funny. She always brings her little French bulldog up to meet everyone. I always love it when people bring their dogs up into the videos. Not so much their husbands or kids. I like to see their dogs. And go figure. Leveling up. Christopher Hopkins and his mom Joanne. He is the makeover guy. I love to watch his before and afters. I've had this book for years. He used to be on TV shows as a guest stylist. He used to make over people. Now, his book is full of ideas for fashion, and even though this is an older book, the fashion tips are ageless. The makeup tips are ageless. The hair tips are ageless. So he's a really good stylist. Now, his mom Joanne was a model in the 50s, and she does the wardrobe. He has a salon in Minnesota, and she works there. She does the wardrobe and, you know, basically telling people the styles they can wear, what kind of underwear they should have. She gets them fitted and everything. And you see the beginning, the person coming on that, you know, they're 65 or they're 70 or whatever, and they're really depressed and they look really forlorn. And then at the end, they show this terrific change in people. The befores and after are amazing. He also has side videos that Joanne, his mother, does, and she's like in her 80s. And she rocks her fashion too. She's a you know, piss and vinegar kind of lady. She's really funny. I really enjoy watching them a lot. And, you know, he wrote this book for women of a certain age, as they used to say, bettering themselves, putting their best foot forward. And I love the attitude. He's a wonderful guy. He's also quite talented. He sings like you wouldn't believe. He used to sing a lot in school. Annabelle. I can't not mention Annabelle. She is a Swedish lady who grew up kind of middle class and kind of, you know, she was a little bit of a raucous teenager and carefree. She smoked. She just dressed in trends and cheap clothes. And she decided she was going to better herself. She went to school in Italy. And she met a man of means, and he showed her a side of life that changed her forever. She started to level up, she started to get educated, she started to become, he, you know, taught her how to act like a lady, which, you know, sounds awful in this day and age, but she has her own consulting business. She's taken, she's a color expert. She's done the Color Me Beautiful thing. She's done all of that stuff. But she is now married to a Swiss businessman who is quite prominent, and she lives a life of luxury. And she teaches courses to people, not so much to be rich or attract a rich man, but to level themselves up so that they are better versions of themselves. Etiquette, how to use the tableware, how to sit, proper conversation, posture, dressing nicely. She talks about different types of fashion no-nos. I find her very, very educational. Now, I don't care if I attract a rich guy or not. That's not my jam, believe me. Oh, and by the way, by mention last week, I apologize. I offended some people last week when I said I had it was an engagement ring looking ring that a company had sent to me to demonstrate, and I said, well, I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. And a lot of people got upset with me, and I got an email from one lady, and she said, "Why did you say marriage is a rabbit hole?" I had absolutely not that in at all. You know, I'm recently divorced, as you know, and I really was just making a joke, like I'm just not going to jump into marriage again really quickly. But in my not leveled up speech, I said, well, I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. And I'm so sorry I offended some of you, and I just have to watch my language sometimes here, because I just say what I think sometimes, and some of you get it. But I mean, some of you are happily married, a little bit conservative too, and I sometimes say things that are a little bit over the top, and I apologize. Organizing and cleaning. I have been obsessed. Oh gosh, I hate that word when people say it. But they say it about a lipstick. I'm saying it about watching certain videos. I can binge watch people cleaning all day long. All day long. Ari Katarina is her name. She's a Finnish lady. She's in her 20s, and she just got engaged, and she is a very special lady. She lives in Finland, and she is sponsored by the Sponge Daddy, Scrub Daddy people, and Nordic Clean, I think, is the other company that sponsors her. But by sponsoring her, what they do is they give her cleaning products, and they'll pay her hotel and flights if she has to travel. She cleans houses of people that have had tragedies in their lives, that have had mental illness, or they were alcoholics and they're cleaning up their act. She shows you the before, and she shows you as she's cleaning how she cleans things. And she cleans the dirtiest houses I have ever seen. The sinks are caked up with stuff. And she's kind of green, but kind of not. She uses dish soap for almost everything. I mean, she just does so many interesting things. But I love watching her clean the kitchens and stuff. And she says, "Oh, it smelled bad in here." You know, she talks with a really cute accent. English is not her first language, and I think it's really admirable how she speaks in English. You know, and it's, all the trashes are everywhere. It smelled bad. It smelled bad. It took maybe like 100 bags of trashes we had to take out to the dumpsters and fill them. And you know, she's just cute the way she talks, and her boyfriend films her. She does selfies with the trash. I mean, it's bizarre, but it's so satisfying watching her clean these houses. And she shows the before in the room and then the after, and it's like, whew, wow, you know, really amazing. If I was doing this, I would be wearing a hazmat suit, you know, and have an oxygen tank like Darth Vader. I would not go into these places. And she had gloves on, and she's like, "Oh, scrub, scrub. I like the dirtier, the better, happier." You know, and she just like really gets something out of cleaning so that she sees the after. And some of the things she does are just amazing. But first, coffee. That is Callie. She has 2 young children and a husband, and you know, kind of a busy life. She's a great organizer. She's really good for telling you how to organize your pantry, how she works her cleaning routine in. She just gives really good hints and tips for daily stuff you can do so that the house doesn't get so unmanageable. Also, how to reduce, you know, your waste, and what she does when she brings something in. You know, the recycling thing, how she gets her kids to clean up. I mean, she's just really interesting in that way, and a practical organizer. Interior decorators. I love watching folks who show completed rooms or aspects of rooms that can be improved. Garrett Lashik. He is a young man, I think he lives in Georgia, and he is extremely opinionated. He's very gentle. He has 3 dogs. One of them's deaf and blind, and absolute. He just is such a loving fur daddy. But anyway, he talks about trends. His thumbnails are really funny. He has a good sense of humor. He's got a really good eye for things. He likes a simple and elegant kind of look. I watch different types of interior decorators that have different specialties. Some are more boho, transitional. Some of them are a little bit more modernist and minimalist. Some of them are more traditional farmhouse. So I like a lot of different types of designers, but Garrett is fun to watch. I feel like I'm with a friend, and he gives some really good practical advice. Julie Koo. She adds a beautiful kind of feng shui aspect to her decorating, a calming effect. She likes to have a home that's calming and that you feel like you come to your nest and you can relax. She just recently had a baby also. She takes you shopping with her. She's a decorator who does a lot of basics. And she does have, I guess you could say, is an Asian flair to her decorating on a simplistic level. She has beautiful taste, and she's very, very practical and modern, but she also shows, she loves textures, and she touches everything. She doesn't just look at something online. She actually has to touch things and feel the texture and sit in it, or stay, you know, she's very, very picky about what she selects. And some of her designs are beautiful, but she gives very, very practical advice on things. DIY with KV. Kiva, she's only 25 years old, and yet she has this wisdom like you wouldn't believe. One of the funniest things she said that really hit home with me is she's like, alcohol is not decor. She said, stop putting your wine bottles and your booze bottles out like they are decor. They are not. They are alcohol. They are not decor. I'm like looking at the top of my shelves in my kitchen. I have all these old wine bottles. So Kiva likes to go to a lot of places like Home Goods and even Target, and she will pick out individual pieces and tell you what, you know, where it would go well. She talks about trends that aren't very good. She'll talk about things that are outdated, things that make your house look cheap. Really, really nice person. Kristen McGowan. I thought, the first time I saw her, I thought, what is she, 16? Is she decorating her dorm room? I mean, I guess, you know, when you get older, you just can't tell age. Just like the younger people can't tell how old we are, I can't tell how old younger people are. Here she is, she's like, when we go to our lake house, I'm like, you go to a lake house? Your parents take, you know, I'm like, still thinking she's a kid. Well, she and her husband go to a lake house, and the bedroom was bland and the patio was bland. And I'm telling you, I've linked the videos from these people below that I really think make a good representation of them. That lake house transition she did in that bedroom and patio were amazing, and she shows you each step of the way how she did it, how she planned it, how she printed out a painting and put it on a frame over the bed. I mean, she just was so good. I was amazed for such a young age, whatever she is. She just did such a good job, and I love her style. It's fresh, you know. Her style is fresh and beautiful, and I really enjoy watching her as a decorator. And she's very kind and pleasant the way she explains things. Nick Lewis. He's my Canadian boy. He's very modern and minimalist, sort of. He's modern transitional. He has modern pieces in his home, but he's extremely opinionated about what looks tacky, what you should change. He'll have features on different types of design styles. He'll explain all the different types, and if you like more of a farmhouse look, maybe get away from the signs a little bit. He doesn't like farmhouse very much, but he's also another guy that I just find so entertaining to watch, and it's a pleasure to sit there and listen to him, and I do learn things from him too as well. Sometimes I'll just go down the roll of feed. I won't watch just one. I'm subscribed to several DIY channels, but you know, like at holiday time, like at Christmas time or whatever, I'll watch DIYers who do Christmas type crafts. I love watching people creating it. If you just, I'm not going to put down the channels, but if you just put DIY cottage or DIY decor, you're going to come up with a lot of folks who will show you some really good hints and tricks that you can just create these beautiful pieces of decor for your home, and they don't look cheap. I'm really into cooking, so cooking to me is, and baking especially, I just love it. And it's just one hard thing about being divorced is I don't have anybody to cook for, so the guys at work have been getting all my baked treats. They're digging that for sure. One of the main channels I like to watch is America's Test Kitchen. America's Test Kitchen, they talk about the history of food. They'll talk about all the herbs and where they're good to be used in to make different baked goods. Now, they are like true innovators of cooking. I mean, their recipes are top notch. You know, they're really good. And they'll tell you about mixing techniques and the tools that they use and how they lay out their kitchen. I just find them so educational. So they're not so much personalities, because you get different ones showing you different things on that channel, but the educational aspect of that is really good, and I really dig that part of their channel. Collard Valley Cooks. Tammy. Collard Valley Cooks. Tammy and her family are like down-home country cooks. Grandma and Mama used to cook all homemade stuff, and I love Tammy. I have both of her cookbooks, and you can get them on Amazon. She is old school, real food, real ingredients, old time mixing and stuff. I really enjoy her. She actually and her husband were on a competition on TV, and they won against a lot of, you know, snippy other people who were doing more gourmet foods. These books have recipes in them that some of them have pictures, some of them don't, but they're just simple ingredients, basic cooking, home cooking, and she's just a joy to watch, and watching her maneuver in her kitchen and the stuff she uses. She also sells things on Amazon, like some of the things she uses to cook with, some of her tools and utensils and pots and pans and baking supplies. She will also have them on there, but I really like Tammy a lot. Dolores is the baking diva. She and I have done a couple of collabs together. She is, I think she's in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, somewhere like that, and she is an amazing person. She's a grandma, and a lot of times in her older videos, her young grandsons used to help her prepare the foods. She, in every season, she's very festive. She'll wear a costume. If it's St. Patty's Day, she'll wear green. You know, she wears an Easter Bunny outfit on Easter. Does series of things sometimes, like she just did her poke cake series with all different types of cakes. Each episode was a different poke cake. She's just a good person, you know. She gives really good advice on, demonstrates different types of things. She bakes mostly cookies, cakes, pies, that sort of thing, but she has like some unique recipes as well. I love her cookie series in December. I think every day in December she makes like a different cookie. So there's always something in there new to learn, and she's so good at explaining things, and the recipes she has are awesome. They're really awesome. So Dolores, I just love the baking diva. Some channels I just watch for the joy of it. The first one, this one is called Glamour Days. And Glamour Days is vintage films and footage of the 1900s. 1910 San Francisco, or 1920 New York, or a fashion show in 1930, or a makeup tutorial of 1940s or 1950s, school films that we used to have to watch, etiquette films. And what surprised me is that it's Steve McGlindry is from Ireland, and it's him that curated all of these films and posts them. It's a man that does this, and I'm like, really? But it shows up into the 1970s he'll go. He doesn't go past 1970s. He'll show all old films with the newest hairstyles, how to put makeup on, fashion, the 1960s, how to be a go-go girl. There's all kinds of really interesting films. Glamour Days is just fascinating. I love that channel a lot, and anytime they post I watch it, because there's like, you know, how to go out on a date, what to wear to the prom. Cindy is so sad, getting married, should I get married young, or it's just really, really cute little films that they showed teenagers back in the 50s and 60s to try to straighten them out. Yeah. No Vimpia. No Vimpia. These guys are life partners. Aaron is from the UK in England, and they live in England. And River is from Australia, and he's a real stitch. He's kind of the most vocal of the two of them. He's very, very flamboyant, and has quite a sense of humor, and he's extremely over the top sometimes. Now, they both are real enthusiasts of drag, and they both wear the most astounding looking makeup ever. But what's cool about their show is that they discuss things, they get food boxes, and they share food things. They're just hilarious to watch. And they do a thing every month or so. They'll do a parody of a famous person or a YouTuber. They've done Bailey Sarian, they've done the Barefoot Contessa, they've done the vocal coach. I mean, they've done a lot of like other people. Their one of John McClane is just unbelievably funny. Absolutely one of the best things I ever saw. And they did one on one of my other favorites, Ask a Mortician, Caitlin. They did a wonderful thing on her. But they're senior cat parents. They adopted a senior cat a couple of years ago, and they are such thoughtful, good parents to this cat, you know. But they joke with each other, and they have friends that visit them sometimes. They did take a trip to Disney World, and they took us along. Everything is hilarious. I'm not doing them justice. They are so funny. It's social commentary. And again, the makeup is stunning. It's really stunning. Now, Simon's Cat is an animated channel, and I watch every one of those. Simon's Cat is from, Simon is an English guy who is an animal lover, actually, and his very first cat, Hugh, is a black cat, and Hugh inspired Simon's Cat, the cartoon strip. Hugh used to wake Simon up in the middle of the night with this very loud meow, because he was hungry. He wanted to be fed. And Simon based his cat, who is a white cat, opposite of Hugh. Hugh is pitch black cat. Simon's cat is based on Hugh. And he gets into all these little adventures. And then he got a kitten. And the kitten is actually based on his real life. He got a kitten named Jess, who is also jet black, and he made the kitten white as well. But the two of them have little adventures. The cats have adventures in the house, and Simon is just the guy that feeds them, or the guy they taunt or torment. But I just enjoy it so much. It's just a, you know, pleasant little escape, and the cats are wonderful. He also he has since then, Hugh and Jess have both passed away. He has 2 new cats, and I believe he had 2 other cats as well. He's a real animal lover, and he helps with rescues. He's just a really nice guy. He's somebody you'd like to know. And on the dog side, since I am a dog person, I love watching Tucker Budson. Tucker is a golden retriever, and I think his owner, who absolutely loves him and treats him well, and you can tell they love this dog and they treat this dog so well. Tucker is a breeding golden retriever, and so they bring his girlfriends over every now and then, and they sometimes will bring his puppies over. Todd was his son. That I think they kept Todd, but that was one of his puppies, and Todd and he will do food reviews and things, and you know, they have little text over them so it looks like they're talking, and it's so believable what these dogs say and do. And you know, he hates broccoli, and whenever she does the food taste, she always puts out, he calls it the tree of death. It's broccoli, and he's like, no, I'm not eating it. But Todd eats everything, you know. And sometimes they'll have Tucker's girlfriend come, and I think they had him married, so yeah, they had Tucker's wife there too. It was like, anyway, Tucker Budson is the name of the strip, and I just love that. You know, sometimes if you're having a stressful day or something, a couple of Tucker Budson videos straighten you right out. Speaking of straighten you right out, doctors and psychologists, Bob and Brad. These guys are physical therapists, and they got a great sense of humor. They do spot videos on, like, if you have a sore knee, this is a good way to exercise it. If you have a sore shoulder, this is a good way to move, or these are good things to do, or these are things to avoid. If you want to sleep, this is the best sleeping position for you. If your neck hurts, if you have bad posture, this is ways to correct it. It's basically like having a medical appointment with these guys. They're giving you free medical advice. Now, Bob, I think it was Bob, has some kind of a muscle disorder, so he doesn't do as much on the show now, and they have now brought in this very hunky pharmacist who talks about different medicines and pain relievers and stuff, and he'll talk about the differences of it. It's very educational. It is like having a visit with a doctor. Dr. Eric Berg. I just think of him as my MD, my primary. I really do. He is, and he's cute. Oh my gosh, he's cute. He is a real talking medical doctor. He doesn't mix any words. He tells you exactly what it's at. He will discuss any health issue, any problem, any symptom. He does question and answers when people ask really personal questions, hygiene questions, ED questions, vaginal issues, skin problems, things like that. He is so good, so well versed, and he speaks plainly. You understand him. So again, it's like having a doctor's visit with a hunky doctor. Dr. Lee. These two guys, the hunkiest dermatologists on the planet. Dr. Maxwell looks like a surfer dude from California, and Dr. Shaw, who looks like somebody I'd want a cougar. They're dermatologists. They're real doctors, and they talk about skincare. They'll talk about sunscreens. They talk about moisturizers. They talk about Retin-A. These are the people that I go to for skincare advice. I don't go to YouTube beauty gurus who know how to buy a sale lipstick. People who are not doctors start talking about how to layer your acids and Retin-A's and all this stuff, and it's like, you know, you're not a doctor and you're telling me all this stuff. Not everybody is the same. And I think I trust doctors to tell me about skincare and the best things. And what really tickles me is these guys love CeraVe. They love the drugstore stuff. So, and they talk about drugstore versus high-end versus medical prescription. They talk about ways to get rid of acne, dry skin, wrinkle creams, what's effective, are those LED lights effective? I mean, they're really interesting, and they're nice guys. They just seem like really nice guys, and they talk back and forth. And Dr. Shaw, the real hunky one that I want a cougar, he does other social media as well on his own. So it's just a really interesting. And they also talk about scalp products and hair growth products. So they don't just limit it to the dermal on your body and face. They do also talk about scalp treatments and hair growth. And Dr. Sten Ekberg. He is a former Olympian, and he's a holistic doctor from, I think he lives in the United States now. He knows more about anything than anybody. Boy, I tell you. I just watched a video he did on eggs, and I'll link it below. He talks about the different types of eggs, the medical benefits of eating eggs, and what the fallacies are and what the real reality is. And he talks about cage-free versus pasture raised versus, you know, all that stuff. Really, really good. He also talks about healthy exercise. He talks about what sugar does. He has these series of, if you just eat bacon for 30 days, what happens? If you just eat, you know, sugar, if you stop sugar for 30 days, what will happen? He's a really healthy guy, no nonsense at all. I mean, he's just flat. He's a flatline personality, but it's good information. Really, really good. For mental and spiritual help, Lewis Howes, he is a guy who wrote The School of Greatness, and he does, like, Lewis Howes he interviews guests who are the top of their line. Either really good businessmen, or they're really healthy people, or they're good psychiatrists. They're the top of their field, whatever it is, and he asks them for hints and tips in their particular field. It is so fascinating. A lot of the guests that he has, I've subscribed to their channels on the side, and that's how I discovered Marissa Peer, who is my next person. She is UK's top psychologist. She works with people who have to heal from their childhood problems. You Are Enough. She started like that whole movement. This is a great book. You can be thin and then tell yourself a better lie. She is an amazing person. It's kind of like having Marianne Faithfull talk to you about stuff. She's got a kind of a British accent. She looks like a snooty old English lady, you know, but she is kind-hearted and wonderful, and she pulls out of you your personal tapes that you have in your head, how you react and respond to things because of your upbringing. Our parents didn't raise us so well in many cases, and a lot of dysfunction went on. A lot of us have lost self-esteem because of the way we were raised, or the competitiveness, or the pressure of keeping up, or defiance, or whatever. For whatever reason, she tries to pull out what the problem is and heal it. She's very good with folks who have emotional issues, or have trouble relating to others, or have trouble in relationships, or have trouble becoming successful, or perhaps have weight issues or eating disorders. She's really good with alcoholics, with people who have addictive personalities. She's just amazing the way she talks. She has processes you can go through. She's the one who tells you have to write in lipstick, "I am enough," on your mirror in the bathroom. I mean, it's just, I really enjoy watching her videos. She has her own channel. She guest appears on other people's channels, and she's very, very good. Marissa Peer is her name, and she's the inventor of the rapid transformational therapy. Death and funerals. Now, I work in a cemetery office. I'm in the cemetery and funeral business, which is so strange. I know. It's like customer service on steroids. I get all kinds of calls from people, from somebody stole the flag off Dad's grave, to we need to buy a plot, to my mom just died, what do I do? I get calls like that. So I've been watching these people for years, and Ask a Mortician is Caitlin. she does documentary and historical shows all about famous people and how they died or whatever. If it was unusual, the death was unusual. She also talks about green funerals and green burials. And she's a real proponent and advocate for giving back to the earth rather than having a big cement vault and an overpriced casket and being embalmed with formaldehyde and other toxic chemicals, taking up a lot of space, spending a lot of money, which is around 15 grand average, just so you know, with a stone and everything. It's not very green or earth friendly. She owns a funeral home that specializes in natural burials and natural options. And Caitlin is funny as anything. She's got a great sense of humor, and she does really good videos. They're interesting, they're educational, and watching her led me to Carrie the Mortician. Ari the Mortician is for those of you who are curious about all the processes of body disposal. Water cremation, fire cremation, burials, how she reconstructs bodies, how she dresses the bodies, how they reconstruct a face that's been damaged or bloated in the water, how funerals are done, how burials are done, how they dig a grave. I mean, she goes into a lot of really interesting stuff you always kind of wanted to know but didn't know who to ask. Really interesting stuff. I used a lot of her information in my funeral planning video, which not many of you watched. I mean, there's so many options that are so cool, and it's just something that people don't want to talk about or think about because they think if they think about it or talk about it or plan for it, it's going to happen. But you know, when you're in your 60s, you really need to be responsible enough to do something like that. You need to plan out, at least to have something that says, I want all my furniture and stuff to go to Joe Smith next door. You know, just a simple thing like that. And you can download a will and testament right off the internet and sign it and have it notarized at the bank for free. There it is. So, Carrie the Mortician is a very, very pleasant person. She's dating the guy who runs the crematory, which is really cute, you know, in a kind of morbid sort of way. And I love her videos. And she also has Coffee with Carrie, where she answers your questions, and people ask her the darndest things, really personal things. Yeah. Along that same line, Lamont at Large. Lamont is a guy who travels around the United States and visits graveyards with a purpose. He has a story about somebody that's an unusual story, or it's a famous person. He tells their story and then he goes to their grave. It's so interesting. And he's, you know, he did go by the Amityville house, and then he went to the DeFeo grave and showed you all the DeFeo family. You know, it's things like that. I just find him really fascinating. He's a pleasant guy. He's got a good heart. And Bailey Sarian. Bailey Sarian is a beautiful kind of gothy girl. She puts beautiful makeup on, and she researches documentaries too. She tells from a very kind of snarky sort of way the story of different things. Well, this guy was such a jerk, God, you know, and she's putting makeup on while she's talking about it. I mean, she's really fun to watch, and she has such interesting stories, and she's been doing this for a while. She puts makeup on and tells these horror stories every Monday. I think she does. She inspired Robert Welch to do his Monday ghosts and makeup thing. So, I mean, I watch so many different channels for so many different reasons. If I'm on a kick, like if I want to make a chocolate cake and I want to decorate it, I'll look at a cake decorating video. If I want to fix the refrigerator, I'll go to a plumber and watch him, you know, open up the back and change the tube out on the water thing, and I'll follow it. Cleaning videos, all kinds of maintenance videos for the different appliances. What's kind of funny is I was watching it, one video, because I noticed my oven door on the inside of the oven glass, it was dirty. So I thought, oh, I want to, you know, take that apart. So I went to a video where the guy took the door apart, and it seemed easy. Just take this screw off and pull this off and take that off. Then you clean it and then just put everything back on. Easy peasy, right? It's still apart in the kitchen. And it fell on my foot too. The front glass fell on my foot. It's so bruised. Anyway, if you are a content creator, I hope you will follow my lead and do a video of your favorite kind of channels that you watch when you're not watching makeup videos. Because that'd be interesting to see what other people watch. I mean, what do you watch? You know, maybe you could tell me a channel you like to watch. All the channels that I've mentioned today are listed below with a video I feel represents that particular thing. The makeup I'm wearing today is also in there. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week and a beautiful day. Thanks so much. Please subscribe if you haven't. Oh man, I tell you, it would really help me out a lot. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week and have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.